Welcome to the Salish Sea Fellowship Sunday afternoon service. Our speaker today is Reverend Pam Douglas-Smith, minister of the Unity Church in Port Townsend. Her sermon title is A Curriculum of the Soul, the Spirit of the Holy Isle of Iona. We hope you enjoy this recording of our service, and we hope to see you in person some Sunday afternoon. Thanks for listening.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Nils Peterson. Before we get started, got a few announcements. I got a lot of announcements, and so do a few other people. So, our next service will not be until June 7th, but we do look forward to having Joseph Bednarik back come then in the pulpit. But in the meantime, on May 24th, we will be starting Fourth Sunday Friendship Suppers. These are intimate and informal gatherings, small potluck dinners in members' homes. It's another way to connect and get to know each other better. We'd especially encourage those perhaps newer to the community to take advantage. You can sign up through Sign Up Genius. The link is in your community update. Your hosts on the 24th are Joyce and myself in Port Townsend, and Virginia and Dan in Port Ludlow. And yes, there they are. And I think we both still have room. Yep, I'm getting nods from both, so we both still have room. As May has 5 Sundays, Joni Murphy and Paul Hinton will be hosting a 5th Sunday home fellowship on the 31st. And again, details and sign up are in your community update, so check that out. Our breakfast club, hosted by Karen and Sarah, continues every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. at the beautiful and scenic Bayview restaurant. You can watch the seals and the orcas swim by, which I can personally attest to, as you enjoy your homemade pie. Everyone is welcome. And I don't think it made the community update, but I wanted to mention that Ty Sheridan has weekly stillness gatherings on Zoom. These are Tuesdays at 5 p.m. For more info, go to Ty's website, which is simply Ty Sheridan, Ty spelled T-A-I, tysheridan.com, and we'll also try to get that into the next update. Our treasurer, Judy King, asked me to emphasize the generosity of this congregation. Last month, we raised $472 for JC MASH, and so far this year, we've raised $2,135, that's through April, in community outreach donations. Thank you. Please don't, while we're on the subject of donations, please don't forget about the coffee table jar for contributions to help support CUMC's store and outreach. And as part of our connection to CUMC, as you may know, we have a number of people who also help make soup for their Saturday soup. And I have been asked to personally thank these folks who have made soup so far this year. And these include Sherry Irwin, Lily Gold, twice, David Rimpf, Joellen Thompson, Gail Sandlin, Celeste Dybeck, Clara Mason, Celeste Archambault, Caroline Miner, Scotty Scott, Susan Kriegel, Terry Copeland, Pam Daly, Ann Virtue, Karen Wamstad, Penny Ritterbush, and Kendra Golden. Thank you to all you soup makers. And before we move on, Karen also has some additional, where'd you go? There you are. Announcements for you.
Yes, I do. That's good. Okay. A fresh decision from the board this last week was that we would try for a singles group, because single people don't have someone to turn to in their house and say, what should we do about that broken whatever? And who's going to pick me up from the optometrist when my eyes have been dilated? How are we going to manage that? And can't we go out a little more often? You're hard to talk to oneself about that and come up with a satisfactory answer. So Ann Virtue and I decided, there she is, she put her hand. Do you want to add something, Ann?
No, that sounded just wonderful.
Yes. So we're going to, Ann and I are going to put our heads together. We're going to make an announcement in the next newsletter and try to see if we can pull something together. And anybody who's interested, got an idea, any possibilities are an option. I'm supposed to have another.
I know.
It's right there for Karen.
Here's yours. You get that one, yes. I did have one last thing I quickly wanted to mention just because I think it's such a neat idea, which is CUMC has received a proposal from Bayside Housing to buy or long-term lease about 5 acres of land over here for creating more additional affordable housing. There's this communication in back if you're curious about what the proposal to CUMC is. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you, Akui. Beautiful music, beautifully played. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Salish Sea Fellowship, both here in person and for those who may be zooming in from far away. We are a religious community with open, loving hearts and open minds. We embrace the traditional principles of Unitarianism and Universalism. My name is Kendra Golden, and I am the pulpit assistant today. Our speaker is the Reverend Pam Douglas-Smith. She is an ordained Unity minister who has served as Minister for Unity in Port Townsend since March of 2003. She moved here from Texas with her husband Lane, and they say, they quote, I got this off the Unity website, they must have done something right because they got to go to heaven before they died. If you have not already done so, please place your phones into silent mode so as not to disturb the time we have set aside to be together. And at this time, I would like to ask if there was anyone visiting us for the first or second time today, if you would like to stand or raise your hand so we know who you are. Karen Wamstad will come to you with a mic and let you briefly introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name's Dave Smith, Dave. I'm Barbara's son, and I'm here. I've been here about 2 weeks taking care of business, and I wanted to come to church with her today, so here we are.
So glad you're here, Dave. Thank you for introducing yourself.
Well, I think this is my third time here, but maybe I'm not eligible. But I'm visiting here, but I'm also interested in becoming a member. So I wanted to have somebody get me through that process, whatever the process is. My name is Mary Grace Swift. I live in Port Townsend with my husband. I come from California, of course, Mill Valley, California. In my former life, I was a lawyer. In his former life, my husband was a commercial fisherman. So Port Townsend seemed like the right place for us. I know many of you. I mean, the Goldens and the Dybecks and Sherry and everything. I know, and Karen I've met. So I'm here today to get a sort of, instead of just being a visitor, to get a hold of what it would be to be a member. So I'd be happy to talk to any of you about it if you want to later.
Okay, gang up on her. The one who's standing up to you.
Hello, I'm Frederick Hopkins. I live at Calipoint, and I live here 6 months out of the year, and I live in Pine Island, Florida, 6 months out of the year. And I've attended UU services at Evergreen UU in Everett a number of years ago, and I'm happy to be here and meet you all.
Welcome. Thank you. And I'm not sure I caught your name. Frederick? Frederick, okay. That's opposite parts, about as far apart as you could go from Port Townsend to Florida. Yeah. It's easy, is it? Okay. Thank you.
So, welcome to all of you. I hope you will stay for refreshments after the service so we can get to know you a little better. And now, I invite us to settle in and quiet our minds. We will begin our sacred time together by ringing our chime. And now I invite us to settle in and quiet our minds. We will begin our sacred time together by the ringing, I just said that. And now we will light the chalice with these words. We kindle light, and with it, possibility. And I think it's time for our opening hymn.
Our opening hymn is a round, and if you look at the back of your order of service, you'll see the words, Now those first 2 lines, we repeat those, and then the last 4 lines, we repeat those, okay? And then this side is going to start in at the beginning, followed by that side, okay? And then when we're done at the end, we'll come back and sing the first part again. We'll sing it all together through once, so you got to get the idea. It's not as complicated as I made it sound. So please rise as you're willing and able. The 2 paths are together. Okay, here we go, all together.
We make time each week to share our joys and sorrows with one another. Karen Wamstad will lead us in this portion of our service.
As usual, I'm going to start next to the flame, which informs us that we are together in this place. We also remember people who are around the country, around the world, who are also human beings deserving of our grace and our thoughts. We think of those who are struggling. We think of those who are going through uncertain times without a thought of how they're going to survive, how they're going to live their lives peacefully. And that includes us too. So let's think about what's going on with us. I mean, how are you folks doing? Are there uncertainties in your lives? Or are there thoughts that you'd like to share with others? How you could be helped? How you could be remembered in their thoughts?
It's a real joy to sing with Wild Rose Chorale. We just sang twice today already at two of the old folks' homes, and our concerts are coming up this Friday and Sunday. So
We should all show up, find out what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. Anyone else have anything to contribute for what's on your minds, what you're concerned about, what you are joyful about? Ron.
Most of you probably already know this, but our good friend David Rimpf is going to have some surgery coming up this next week, and that's a joy because I think hopefully he'll be relieved of discomfort that he's had for a while.
So there'll be no more complaining from him? Anything you want to add to that?
There's no guarantee that that will be the end of the complaining. I just want to be clear.
We're doing our best.
Oh, and Jim Golden and Don Givens built a ramp going into David's house.
Going in and going out, yes. And there's a whole team in place, actually, to follow up on David so he doesn't get into too much trouble. But if he calls you and says he's on the floor, you call 911 for him, please. He's a little resistant to ask for help, we've decided. So there will be times when he wants rides because he's going to be on a scooter. And any of you have been on a scooter, and Anne has, and a few others have been non-weight bearing for 6 weeks. It can be a little tricky to maintain your balance, you know, especially in tight places. So we have a team in place, and so all would be well. And that's good practice for us because things like this will come up for many of us in the next year. We never know when that's going to happen for us, and so we can put together a team, as it turns out, pretty well to look after needs. So don't forget to check in with us. And in these times, I turn to a poem that is on a magnet in my kitchen on the refrigerator. I know you have heard it before, maybe from me, maybe from others. Wendell Berry's poem. When despair grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting for their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
Our offering today is for the Hospice Foundation of Jefferson Healthcare. And I'm pleased to invite Pandora Canton to come forward and tell us a little bit about their work.
Good afternoon. My name is Reverend Pandora Canton, and I have my MDiv from Universal Unitarian School in Berkeley. But I am ordained as an interfaith minister. And I had decided in the beginning of being on my call that I would be a clinical chaplain rather than a community minister. So I have served 20 years as a clinical chaplain. And recently I'm in Jefferson Hospice, and I am the spiritual care person, and I am the bereavement counselor and run grief groups. One of the things that I want what you contribute today will go to the foundation. The foundation is it's a nonprofit organization that supplies things for things. Right now, one of the biggest things we're doing is comfort therapists, massage therapists, dog therapists, And we pay them a little stipend to go and do things. We also offer haircuts, and we do. So it's a wraparound program for the people in hospice that need those things. We often will have somebody be there overnight if they can't afford a caregiver. So it's a beautiful wraparound thing that the foundation does. The foundation also pays me to do community grief groups. So that's a little bit about the foundation. Of course, hospice is, we kind of get afraid of the word hospice, and everybody thinks, oh gosh, if I'm going into hospice, I'm going to die. I can't tell you how many patients I've had get out of hospice because hospice gets them to a place that they're free of pain and they can go on living maybe for a year or two. So hospice isn't really a scary thing. You have to be diagnosed at 6 months or less to get onto hospice, but once you're on hospice, it's a beautiful thing because we have nurses, we have CNAs, we have spiritual care, we have bereavement, we have the docs, and your medications are sent to you. That's pretty awesome in itself. But hospice is a really lovely thing, and it's not something that we should be frightened of. The other thing that hospice really provides, and it's really big within this area, in fact, it's so big I'm starting to do community grief groups in Chimacum and Quilcene starting there in June. But I've had, the other thing the foundation does is pay for our yearly memorial service. Last year we had 170 people die on hospice, and we provide that memorial service for people to come and put their grief and see their grief and share and be together. But the bereavement program that I run, and we do try to take some community, is we have grief groups as well as one-on-one counseling. So it's a great wraparound program. And the people on there are just gems of people because each and every one of them is called to do this. Nobody wants to say, oh golly, I just want to go work with dying people. It's like we do, but because we have the compassion and the love and the care to work with dying people. And it's an honor for us. And we are gatherers of their stories, and we're gatherers of care for them. And so it's just a lovely thing that we do. So please give as you can today, and it will be put to good use. Thank you.
I want to say one thing. This lovely lady has an armful of information that she can share with you to take home, if you're so inclined. So be first in line, Thank you, Barbara. As our musicians come forward, the ushers will come among us with baskets so we can contribute to the Hospice Foundation for Jefferson Healthcare. And following this music, there will be a reading by Pam, and then following that, we will have our special music.
As soon as I find it. Nope, not that one.
Water.
No, wrong water, yeah.
I think you're getting there.
I'm getting there. Slow, but not so sure. Okay.
she sails the sea. She's loaded deep, as deep can be, but not as deep as the love I'm in. I know not if I sink or swim. Oh, love is handsome, and love is fine, and love is charming when it is true. As it grows old, it groweth cold and fades away like morning dew.
Thank you so much for that beautiful song. It took me back in time. When I was in junior high, my dad put a record, remember records on record players? And it was Nancy Ames, and The Water is Wide was on that album. So, beautiful song. The reading I'd like to share with you today comes from Jan Richardson, her book called Circle of Grace. And this is like a blessing poem. And I find these two pieces that I'll share with you really inspire me in these days where holding the light for the world, for peace, for one and all, is something that is so important. So from Jan Richardson, Circle of Grace. How the light comes. I cannot tell you how the light comes. But what I know is it is more ancient than imagining, that it travels across an astounding expanse to reach us, that it loves searching out what is hidden, what is lost, what is forgotten, what is in peril, what is in pain, that it has a fondness for the body, for finding its way toward flesh, for tracing the edges of form, for shining forth through the eye, the hand, the heart. I cannot tell you how the light comes, but that it does, that it will, that it works its way into the deepest dark that enfolds you, that it may seem long ages in coming or arrive in a shape you did not foresee. And so may we this day turn ourselves toward it. May we lift our faces that it may find us. May we bend our bodies to follow the arc that it makes. May we open and open more and open still to the blessed light that comes. And blessed are you who bear the light. Blessed are you who bear the light in unbearable times, who testify to its endurance and bear witness to its persistence when everything seems in shadow and in grief. Blessed are you in whom the light lives, in whom the brightness blazes, your heart a chapel, an altar where in the deepest night can be seen that fire that shines forth in you, in unaccountable faith, in stubborn hope, in love that illumines every broken thing it finds. Blessed are you who bear the light.
I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger, a traveling through this world of woe. But there's no sickness, no toil or danger in that bright world to which I go. I'm going home to see my Father. I'm going home no more to roam. I'm just a going over Jordan. I'm just a going over home. I know dark clouds will gather around me. I know my way is rough and steep, but beauteous fields lie just beyond me, where souls redeem their angels keep. I'm going home to see my mother. I'm going home no more to roam. I'm just a going over Jordan. I'm just a going over home. I want to wear that crown of glory when I get home to that bright land. I want to sing salvation's story in concert with that blood-washed band. I'm going home to see my Savior. I'm going home no more to roam. I'm just a going over Jordan. I'm just a going over home. Just a going over home.
Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be back here with you all once again. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite places on the planet today. It's called Iona, the Holy Isle off the west coast of Scotland. It's in the Inner Hebrides, and to get there is quite a journey. And you may go there thinking you're just a tourist to go see this interesting place, but there was no way you can journey to this place without it being a spiritual pilgrimage. It just is. The magic of the place will call to you. You have to make a choice to go there, because to get there you start in Glasgow, and then you take a train that's about 3 hours all the way out to the west coast to a little town called Oban. And then from Oban you get on one of the great big Hebridean ferries that takes you all the way over to the Isle of Mull. And you get off on the Isle of Mull, and you've got more journeying. You then get on a local bus that takes you around the island to the far side, and then you get off the bus and you see Iona in the distance across the water, and you get on a little tiny ferry that holds people, but only about 4 cars at a time, because only the locals can have cars on the island. And then you finally step ashore. As the ferry kind of goes back and forth on the shore, wear shoes you don't mind getting wet, and you feel that you've come home as soon as you step on to Iona. It's quite amazing. And Vivian Hull has one of my favorite quotes about pilgrimage. And I did a little handout for you all today because I wanted to gift you with this curriculum of the soul and some spiritual practices that might be beneficial to you in your life. And she says, unlike mere travel, a pilgrimage is a journey into the landscape of soul. It's seeing beyond outer appearances to that amazing realm of invisibility that takes form and shape that we get to experience here. You go to Iona, and Iona is only 1.5 miles wide and 3 miles long. It's tiny. You actually, while you're there, you can walk from one end to the other and from one side to the other. And what's so fascinating is that there are beaches all around, and each one is unique. Some have the great big stones. Some have small stones that you can tuck in your pocket and take home. Some have little tiny seashells that you can collect. So it's got this wide variety of nature in this amazing place. And it is said by geologists that this may be the most ancient rock on earth. This may be the place where manifestation as what we know as Gaia began. The most ancient rock on earth. There are dozens of ancient kings buried there in the graveyard. And the Book of Kells that so many people love, the beautiful illuminated manuscript that you now go to Ireland to see, was actually crafted on Iona and sent to Ireland for safekeeping when the raids were taking place. It also seeded the Holy Isle of Lindisfarne, which some of you may also have been to, that's on the east coast of Great Britain. It's right at the place where Britain and Scotland come together, the borders. And it's an island that you have to go at the right time because it's a tidal island and the road is covered by the sea quite a bit of the day. So again, a place of intention to go, but put it on your list as well. At this point, you have an ecumenical abbey that really stresses the power of interfaith and of justice and peace for all. And there is also the ancient nunnery ruins that are there that you can walk and meditate in the midst of. And on the very end, I read a book and found it, and it was true. On the end is a Sheila na gig, which if you don't know what that is, that's the ancient crouching goddess with her legs spread giving birth. And it's an ancient symbol, and they were taken down off of the churches. But it was a symbol of the divine feminine and Mother Earth. And it is on the end. You can barely see it, but it's still on the stone on the end of the ancient nunnery. I'd like to share with you a passage written by James Ashby in the autumn of 1998. I was blessed at one point in my life to go to Iona, and they were having a gathering of the people that were invested in the St. Columba Hotel on the island. And it turned out they had a spot open, and I had asked if I could come and retreat, and they said, if you want to join this group, come. I did, and I ended up investing as well. And James Ashby was one of the people, and I've looked for this piece anywhere on the internet. I can't find it anywhere, so I have a printed copy that James gave me, and it's called When You Come to Iona. And I love it because as I read it, I think you'll have a sense of Iona as well as a sense of the spiritual curriculum that comes when you get to abide in this amazing sacred place. When you come to Iona, you leave on the mainland the clamoring stress of the daily problems of life. When you come to Iona, you can hear more clearly the still small voice within you. When you come to Iona, you can gaze through the clear blue-green waters deep to the seabed below. When you come to Iona, you can see more clearly into the depths within you, too. When you come to Iona, you may see the violent winds blowing the rubbish left out of the bins, the light, loose things left around from everyday life. When you come to Iona, you may find that you are released from unwanted attachments, from worries, from things that are holding you back, and you can laugh as the wind catches them and dances them far from you. When you come to Iona, you will walk with your feet planted on Earth's oldest rock and pick your way across the valley to the hermit cell or up to the top of Dooney. When you come to Iona, you may see more clearly your chosen path through life, the one you chose to travel before you took your birth. When you come to Iona, you may see the clouds part and the sun shine on you, while the mainland and Mull are still wrapped in mist. When you come to Iona, you may feel consciously the blessed light of the divine around and within you. When you come to Iona, you may bathe in its waters, breathe its fresh air blown straight from the ocean, feel the solidity and strength of its earth base, be warmed by its glorious sunshine. When you come to Iona, you too may feel, as thousands have done before you for thousands of years, that this is a sacred part of earth. Will you come to Iona? Iona is very much part of Celtic spirituality, which is something that I have loved my entire life. I believe there are two different strands of the Christian tradition. One is the Church of Roma, that is the Church of Doctrine and the classical church. The other is the Church of Amor, Roma, Amor, mirror images, the Church of Love. And last time I was here, I spoke about the Church of Love and Mary Magdalene and the power of love and the Cathars that were in 12th century France that are part also of this spiritual underground stream that arises over time to remind us of the depths of the meaning of what spirituality means. Celtic Christianity, one of the things that I love about it is it blends earth and spirit. It doesn't say that earth and humanity are evil or bad and spirit is good. It says it is all divine. All of it is divine, everything. They see our divinity and our humanity as one. all sacred. They honor nature and celebrate the thresholds that earth can offer to us to grow in understanding and connection with spirit, with soul, and with one another. They believed in the power of two paths, one of solitude and the other of community, and that those of us that find the deepest peace are the ones who can weave those two together. Solitude, that deep quiet, but also community, being among Anamkara, soul friends, soul family. They respected the mystery. They loved wildness, but also the serenity that came with being in nature. And they believed in kaithing, which means you can connect beyond time and space with others, with nature, with animals, with all of life. The Celtic monks were free thinkers and non-dogmatic. Don't you like that? And they focused on the resurrected Christ, whereas the Roman Church focused on the crucified Christ. And I love that. It was about recognizing the eternality of life and the power of love and grace. The saint that's affiliated with Iona is St. Columba. I mentioned the St. Columba Hotel that was named after him, that's right in the center of the island. In fact, it sits right on the heart chakra of the island. And St. Columba came from Ireland, and he came in around 563 AD. He came in a coracle, which is a boat that doesn't have a sail or a way to steer it. It doesn't have a tiller, and you're in this boat floating and having to trust that the water and the tides and the wind will take you where you're meant to be. And it's interesting because the tradition of Mary Magdalene is that when she arrived on the south coast of France, it was in a coracle as well. So it's trusting that you will be guided to where you are supposed to be. He landed at St. Columba Bay, and if you go, you can walk on the bay there, and there are sometimes you can find a little tiny, clear green stone. I was there for my 50th birthday, and I found one. It's the only time I'd ever found one. Little tiny stone that you hold up and you can see the light through it. And those are called St. Columba's tears. And it said they were formed when he came ashore there and wept that he had come home. And so the St. Columba tears are still found when you travel there and walk on the beach. He had a stone circle that was his hermit cell, very much like the Druidic tradition. He blended the Druidic with the Christianity in a way that honored both. And there's a holy well up on Duny, which is the tallest hill on the island. And it said that St. Bridget came and actually blessed that holy well, and that she communed with Mother Mary in visions while she was there at the well. There's the Hill of the Angels, that's a soft hill that they said at one time was a sacred circle of tall standing stones that have since been taken down. But it was on the Hill of the Angels that they said that people saw St. Columba communing and surrounded by beings of light that they described as angels and masters. He would go by himself, but every once in a while they said someone would follow him to see where he was going and what would happen. And so there are accounts, historical accounts documented of St. Columba on the Hill of the Angels communing. And when he decided it was time for him to go, that his life was complete, he told the monks that it was soon, and he was walking home down the road, and his white horse that he loved came galloping across a field to him, put its head on his shoulder, and wept, knowing that he was getting ready to go to spirit and he would see him no more. Talk about a connection with animals and with nature. And that night he went to sleep. It was Christmas Eve, and he slipped out during the night and was gone by morning. He was very open in so many ways, and he said something that I've always thought was fascinating. He said, Jesus was the greatest druid of all, for he had command and mastery over all of the elements, over spirit and matter, and that he could see the oneness in which they were held. His Saint's Day, if you'd like to know it, is June the 9th, and it wasn't until a number of years later I realized I was ordained as a unity minister on St. Columba's Saint's Day. And so that is not by accident with my love of Celtic Christianity, and I was ordained by a minister from the borders of Scotland and England that had the most beautiful brogue you've ever heard. So I wanted to share with you, and I have it on your handout, one of the blessings of St. Columba that's probably the one that he's most well known for. And I've always loved it because it reminds us that that presence of the divine, whatever we may call it, is all around us. Be thou a bright flame before me. Be thou a guiding star above me. Be thou a smooth path beneath me. Be thou a kindly shepherd behind me, today and evermore. And the piece that I want to weave it together with, that ancient blessing, is a piece that's called the Dedication of the Guardians. And the Dedication of the Guardians is by Diane Ackerman. And I actually saw this on the wall of a judge's office in Austin. My older brother was born profoundly multi-handicapped, never was able to walk or talk or feed himself, but he and I had a deep soul connection. We were ever connected, and this judge every year would select 2 people that he would help them become guardians of someone in their family, because it was very expensive to do. And I was selected, and when I was waiting to become my brother Douglas, that's where my last name comes from, my brother Douglas's court case so that I could become his guardian, this was on the office of the judge's wall. And I've seen it other places since, and it's something I really love. And I think it speaks particularly to the calling that we all have. On your handout, I even included the mantra that is yours here for how you want to see the world, and I think it ties in with this so perfectly. The Dedication of the Guardians. I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred, but offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature, as a healer of misery, as a messenger of wonder, and as an architect of peace. And so I wove together those 2 passages for you all. The bright flame before me is being a guardian of nature. It's seeing the beauty of our natural world and honoring it. It represents the element of fire, the direction of east where the sun rises. It represents life force and life shapes that they take in infinite variety in this realm. The bright flame of creation lights everything with passion and with illumination. The guiding star above me is being a healer of mystery, of misery. It's the element of air, the direction of north. It's that North Star that helps guide you and helps you see the higher meaning of things that are happening so that you can release misery and embrace the lessons and the growth that the experience can bring. It's about perception and higher vision and the imagination that lets you see from that higher perspective where your life is here on earth. The smooth path beneath me is being a messenger of wonder. It's standing right where you are and as you are to bring eyes that see like children the wonder and amazement that this world holds and that all of humanity holds. It's the element of earth, of grounding. It's the direction of south. It represents home, family, the physical realm, that smooth path upon which we walk and which we get to be whoever we've been sent to be from Spirit. And I believe before we took our first breath, we each came with something we wanted to be a messenger of wonder about. And so we get to walk this earth and to share whatever unique perspective our soul has. And then finally, a kindly shepherd behind me is being an architect of peace. I love the image of kindly shepherd. That's, as you know, a very ancient one. And a shepherd will take care of the flock, make sure it has sweet water and gentle fields to eat in. It will guide it and tenderly care for it. And I love that he puts the kindly shepherd behind, not pushing me in a particular direction, but rather supporting me as I move forward, like the wind at your back, the kindly shepherd. And that is the element of water, the flow of life. Everything in this realm is, I think it's 87% water. The flow of life is how we create everything. It's the direction of west where the sun goes down. And then you then have to trust that even in the darkness, you can always find your way, for there are lights not only by day but by night. We have moon and stars and planets to guide our way. And that above all else, as an architect of peace, remembering the importance of stepping into the world with unconditional love that allows you to behold the blessings of everyone, whether they seem like you or not, whether they are near or far, family or new stranger that you just met. Being an architect of peace is being willing to be a kindly shepherd, not only for yourself, but for others and for our world. There's a beautiful passage that brings the magic of Iona into a new level, which comes from the Abbess's Farewell by Mary Gray. There was the last abbess on Iona was Anna, and I love Anna. I've always been intrigued by this abbess, and her gravestone is actually found in the little museum right next to the Ecumenical Abbey. And in it, she is there, and there's a little dog on each side of her, beside her. And having two very special dogs myself right now, and having had many dogs in my life, I loved the fact that she not only was there doing spiritual work, they did amazing healing work. They protected children. They protected women. They wrote, they sang. They were very much an active part of the community. And their piece is now it's a ruin. And I love it. I like that even better than the restored abbey, because you go there and you've got the sky above you and the earth below you, these ancient stones where you can still see the curves of the windows, and you feel the presence of Anna and of the sisters who served there. This is a piece that as she is leaving Iona, it is the end, the last night on Columcille's Isle before the sword, the killing comes. We three, who alone remain of our ancient sisterhood, make ready our few possessions. The word of God, the cup of blessing, our salves, some food. Then shawl clad in wool from the mountain sheep we tended, we'll row away from Iona of our hearts, Iona of our love, and in a far-off cave we'll sit and pray and think on what is to come. And shall we be remembered? It may be that the very stones enshrine our prayers, our hopes and our dreams. It may be that when pilgrims come to Column's blessed isle, they will stop and pause amid our ruined stones and know that veiled sisters lived a ministry faithful to God's little ones and faithful to this sacred earth. And let them know that in the presence of the triune three of wisdom, love, and justice, our sisterhood prays on, dreams on, that the pilgrims find peace. My sisters, let us go. And so to this day, we can return to the sacred isle, either in person in our bodies or through our imaginations as we've done today, to this place where the veil is thin between spirit and the manifest world, and where life is honored in a depth and breadth that is rare and hard to find. Anytime I now have something going on when I need to return to a place of peace, I had to do a full body scan one time and I get claustrophobic. I closed my eyes and I said, I'm going to meditate. Let me know when my head comes out so I can open my eyes again. And I chanted, peace be still. And then the next thing I knew, I was on Iona, one of the deepest places of peace I have ever been. I've been blessed to lead a couple of pilgrimages there. People are wanting me to do another one. I'm not sure how we put it together, but we'll try. And I'm hoping to go there in the fall for about 2 weeks on a writing retreat at the Catholic House of Prayer. So I want you to know that if I go back to Iona in October, as I'm thinking, I will carry all of you in my heart. And when I sit in that nunnery and I walk on those beaches and I listen to the sound of those waves, know that you will be there with me in my heart, and I will send you all blessings. I'd like to close with a piece that I wrote for the first pilgrimage that I took to Iona with a group of people. I was leading them, and this came in meditation just before I met with them to tell them a little bit more about Iona and all the little nitty-gritty details of traveling to Scotland. And it's something that I continue to keep before me, and that the people who've journeyed with me on different pilgrimages since say this helps them not only thinking about a spiritual pilgrimage, but about the journey of life each and every day. For life truly is a pilgrimage. A pilgrimage is to faithfully seek the divine with new willingness, to lovingly encounter the wonder of the numinous mysteries, and to experience it all in a sacred world full of holy blessings waiting to be discovered, embraced, and embodied. And I think we're now going to sing a song together, and whoever picked this out, it is perfect, a place of heart.
So in case you're not familiar with this hymn, it starts out with the chorus. As you can see, it's on your back of your program. It's in your program, and then you go into the verse, and then we repeat the chorus, those first 4 lines again, okay? If you want to come up and help us sing, there we go. Okay.
So as we conclude our time together, I offer these words of benediction by Gary Kowalski. Go in peace. Speak the truth. Give thanks each day. Respect the earth and her creatures, for they are alive like you. Care for your body. It is a wondrous gift. Live simply. Be of service. Be guided by your faith and not your fear. Go lightly on your path. Walk in a sacred manner. Let's say our closing words together. You will find them in the order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the loving joy of being freely together. We carry that joy until we meet again. Thank you all. Thank you, Pam. Snacks are available. Pam, will you be available for discussion after about 15 minutes? And Pandora will also be happy to meet with you out in our foyer. Thank you.